Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. If you are new here, extending warm welcome. If you're an existing subscriber, you guys know I love you guys, but doesn't hurt to say it, right? Okay, so today I have palette obsessed, right? I had purchased the Jaclyn Hill, what is it called? The Jaclyn Hill Divine Neutrals palette. Did a video on it, liked it. Said warm neutral eyeshadow palette, what's not to like? But I also picked up the Colourpop Roaring Hearts palette because it was one of the few Colourpop releases that I couldn't say no to. I didn't pick up anything else from this collection, but I like the palette and I thought, okay, this is a great everyday neutral work palette. But as I was looking at it, I thought, I wonder if it's not an awful lot like the Jaclyn Hill Morphe collab. And so when I first thought about doing this video, I thought, you know what, maybe we can do kind of like a dupe video. I mean, Morphe's not a huge price point. Colourpop's not a huge price point. And while I look at these kind of side by side, there's a number of shades that I think are very, very similar. So I don't know, how do you guys feel about doing like a dupe video, but not? I think I just kind of wanted to know, if you had one, did you need the other? Chances are you guys are not as palette obsessed as I am anyway. I commend that. And I think what I've decided is that one of my issues with palette collections, one of my compelling forces behind collecting palettes is I find a palette that I really like. I like the formula. I enjoy the experience of using it. I like the color story, all the things. And then I decide I need everyone that brand puts out. Not everyone. Like, I don't have every single Colourpop palette, but I have a lot of them. I have more than what I need to have. God, I went a little bender on those little 4 pans. I haven't even used them in a video, but I've got most of them down here in a little bin. Anyway, the flip side of that is true. If I try a palette, it's like when you're a kid and you read a book and you don't like the book, you may never read again. I find that if I try a palette and I don't enjoy it, then I might not ever buy from that brand again. The one that I'm kind of on the fence about, while I say that, is the Haus Laboratory. I love Haus Labs lipstick, liquid liner. They're fantastic, like some of the best that I have. But the eyeshadow palettes, I've got 3 of them and I don't love them, but I haven't quite gotten rid of them yet. I haven't bought any more. I think I'm just kind of done buying them. There would have to be something that really generated a lot of buzz and got a lot of hype and a lot of positive reviews before I'd probably buy another stuff. The Thrive Cosmetics 360 degree eye lift. I got that to start with. I picked up this Colourpop blush. This is one of the Super Shock blushes in Between the Sheets. I didn't have this one already, and I was buying more of those little quads. I think about the jewel quads, about 4 of them. If you guys want to see any of those quads, leave a comment down below. I think about all the Zodiac ones. So that's the blush, Between the Sheets. Looks kind of pretty. I got my little Sigma switch, so I'm trying to clean it off a little. Let's see how this color looks. Yeah, this is the one that I needed in my collection. I kind of need to commit to some blushes, like a blush and bronzer combination, but I love blush so much. I'm a little promiscuous when it comes to blushes. Okay, that's actually really pretty. I like that. I might even try to wear it underneath without the bronzer underneath at some point. Let's move on and do some eyeshadow and then we'll come back and see what else we need to do. Let's scooch in a little bit closer. So we've got the Morphe x Jaclyn Hill Divine Neutrals palette, and we have a Colourpop Roaring 20s palette. And I need to see if I've got enough, if I got colors that look like they're enough of a match that I can do a dupe. Okay, I've done a quick little swatching experiment just to see. I gotta get this off my hand because otherwise it's gonna drive me crazy. Funny thing is, in swatching that, I realized that they swatch very, very differently than what they would look in the pan, which was actually kind of a surprise. So I feel like Colourpop, their saturation level, their opaqueness has changed over the years. Like, they've got certain palettes have been like super saturated. Some of them are still a little washed out. I just hit and miss with this palette down below, the Roaring Hearts palette. Some of them actually, like this particular shade right here, swatched much lighter than what I would have thought the comparable one in the Morphe palette would be. The flip side is this particular, and I just took my finger into that shimmer, this particular neutral transition shade right here, I couldn't find a good dupe. I would have thought that maybe that one, but this one's too warm. This one, it was too sheer. So they're swatching very, very different I'll be curious if I can actually pull off a similar look with both these palettes. So let's do the Roaring Hearts palette maybe on my wedding ring side, and then we'll do the Jaclyn palette on the other side. Just for fun, like I normally do with my dupe videos when I'm duping a brand, is I'm going to use the same brushes on both sides. I'm going to color switch them in between, hopefully get the similar application. And already I can tell you I'm feeling like the color story is not exactly the same. So I'm going to take this lightest matte in here, but a kick up. I do have, oh, I already told you I have that 360-degree eye lift primer from Thrive Cosmetics on my eyes already, and it has had plenty of time to sit down a little. Pretty shade. Wouldn't expect anything else. So let's go into this shade over here on the Jaclyn collection, or the Jaclyn side. Similar amount of kick up in between the two. And that one seems similar, but a little light. So I'm gonna actually take, I'm gonna mix it with the next, so that one is called Just Barely. This one that's a good name. I'm gonna go in, I'll mix a little bit with Good Vibes, which is the next matte. It seems like it's a little bit better. It's close enough. It's close enough. We're gonna move on here. Use that one. I really want to use this one. This one doesn't have a good corresponding match on the Morphe palette, so I think I'm gonna have to use this one, which is a little bit more yellow. That one seems to pack a little bit of a punch when it comes to opacity and saturation. I know that the neutral palettes are not super inspiring or interesting. For me, I think the question was, if you have one, do you really need the other? I'm gonna probably go on a limb and say no. So I'm gonna, the last time I took this shade and this shade and kind of mixed them in, and I'm just gonna go into just Good Vibes now. That actually looks very similar. Remember when I first started really getting into really playing with makeup? Like, I've always been into makeup. That's not the kind of the comment here. But when I first started really getting into like the craft of makeup, the artistic nature of makeup versus throwing something on to be able to get out the door and try to make the best version of myself. Anyway, when I first started getting into eyeshadows and really sort of playing with them, cleaning off the brush again, I didn't realize how much blending mattered. And I know that seems a little strange right now, but I would, you know, as long as I got kind of like the colors in the right place and they didn't draw too much attention to myself, I was good. Now it's like, oh my gosh, you've got to, you know, actually making something look beautiful and seamless. I find myself blending way more than I ever would have thought I would do. I'm just cleaning off that brush and kind of shearing out that top edge a little bit here. Those are looking pretty similar right now. Okay, grab a clean brush. I think this is the one that swatched a little light. And maybe I have hard panned it or something, although I don't think so. No, it's picking up on the brush. Okay, so this is probably a little bit bigger of a brush than I need. See, that is so sheer. And I don't know why my eyelid feels a little damp. I don't know if my eyes are watering or what. Still picking up that same one here. Let's see if I can build it up a little bit, because I think this color is a little lighter than I thought it would be. Are you guys at all interested in like outfits of the day or kind of fashiony things at all? Okay, I'm gonna try Boo Bear over here on the Jaclyn side, and I think this one might be more pigmented, very similar. Are you guys interested in like outfits of the day or anything like that? I gotta be honest, right now, you know, I've got snow and it's snowing again, and I woke up to snow, and you know, we've got the snow thing. I can tell you that there's certain things that every morning I put on my workout leggings and like a hooded sweatshirt, and then I go and, you know, those sweater leggings that everybody got, like the kind of knit loungewear type thing that everybody was wearing, you know, the COVID lockdown over the last 2 years and stuff, or the work from homes. So I throw a pair of like sweater leggings over the top of, they're like sweater joggers, I guess. I throw them over the top, and that keeps me very, very toasty. And that gives me, you know, the body heat to go shovel and to take my son to school and stuff like that, because he's still not driving, which is good. I think I'd probably be terrified if he was driving this time of year. But I have a couple like boots that are like the normal go-to boots that I can't imagine not having right now. One of them is a pair of Sorels that I've had forever. Started wearing Sorels in high school because where I grew up, we did have cold weather, but it rained a lot. And the way the Sorels are is there's like a rubber boot kind of sole and bottom part to it, and then they're like a leather, but they're lined. They might even have like a removable liner inside. I don't know. I just throw them on. I'm so happy I have those. And then another pair of boots that I wear a lot are they're Timberlands, but they're like a Chelsea boot, and they're the Chimera Valley, I think is what they're called. I have two pairs of Timberland like ankle boots. One of them is horrible. It's something bay. They do not fit. The same size on both of them. They're not as comfortable. They don't fit as well. And then the Chimera Valley one I really like. I feel like those are looking pretty similar, huh? Let's go back into, this is the green that this is the green that I kind of wanted to pick up. So I'm going to take that. I can tell you so far, my opinion about both of these palettes is they are feeling and performing very similarly. If I didn't know better, I would easily be able to mix up the two, like brands. I wouldn't be able to tell one brand from the other. Okay, we're gonna take this one right here. I think it's called Drippin' from the Jaclyn palette. Now this green shimmer has a lot more of like a gold to it. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but that one very much seems more gold. This actually is a pretty well curated palette, this Jaclyn Hill one, because I feel like you have a light, you know, sort of be able to buff out or use it on your inner corner, whatever else. You got an inner corner highlight. And then I feel like these are variations on a theme. These pair up so nicely. I love the fact that you've got, you know, the shimmers on one row and the mattes on the other, and that it's split relatively easily, or split evenly like that, because I really do feel like most days, that's kind of how I'd wear them. I might wear a burgundy shimmer with a brown or this kind of coppery color. I would wear these as pairs just like that, as opposed to jumping around like I'm doing right now. This one is not, the Colourpop one is not laid out as easily. You do have an inner corner highlight. This one seems very diamond-like. This is your lightest shade, and that's the one that I used to kind of buff out, so you don't have like that bone shade, but you also have less colors in here. And you do have a deep black, which you don't have in the Jaclyn palette. I feel like this one is a little bit easier to wear. Don't get me wrong, I love Colourpop. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the Colourpop one has 4 shimmers and 6 mattes. However, one of those mattes is that black. Okay, so because this one ended up being a little bit more gold, I'm going to try to match it up, and I'm going to grab this gold shimmer over here on the Colourpop side, and we'll just put a little over the top. See, that almost feels more green gold now, whereas this one feels more like a warm gold, like a coppery gold, and less of a green gold. Interesting. Kind of just blend. I always do that, so after I put my shimmers on with my fingers, is I have to go back in, kind of blend in right where that crease is, so I don't get shimmers too high up into the crease. You know what? I am gonna put a little bit of eyeliner on. What do I have here? I have a Wayne Goss eyeliner. Yeah, I have a Wayne Goss eyeliner. I'm just gonna put a little tiny triangle on both sides, right at the edge, just against the lash line. Okay. Because the one in the Roaring Hearts is so blindingly light colored, I'm just gonna grab a little bit of it, and we'll put it right here. And yeah, that's actually really pretty. I was worried that it was going to be too white, but it actually is coming across on like a little bit of a gold shift to it. It's actually really pretty. Sort of buff it in a little bit. Let's see what we've got on the Jaclyn side. Yeah, the Jaclyn side, this one seems like a little bit more rose gold, a little pink undertone to it. Yeah, slightly more pink. I actually think I would probably wear this one a little bit more. All right, let's go into a darker shade. I'm gonna go into the darkest brown here on the Jaclyn side, just under here a little bit. And I'm gonna go into the second to the darkest matte on the Colourpop side, not the black, the one next to it. Both of those performed very similarly. Let's get some mascara on and I'll be right back. Back with some mascara, but I can honestly say that between the two, I would say that my favorite is actually, I think the Jaclyn one's my favorite. And I think it's because they do give you a little bit more color variety. This one is just a warm neutral palette. And this one I think would be a good work travel palette because I've got some cool tone browns, I've got some warm browns, and those are pretty much what I wear when I'm going to meetings. I like the Colourpop lip liner formula. I hate the fact that you have to sharpen the plastic. I so wish that was a mechanical pencil. Okay, so I grabbed another one of their blotted lips. This one might be the wrong color for me today though. This one is called Talker, and I think they're pretty, no, it might work all right. Let's just see here. Yeah, I like that. I am enjoying these blotted lips. I think that they're a little on the emollient side, which I really appreciate. They don't feel like they come on quite as opaque as like a regular matte lipstick. They don't feel like they dry down super matte too. They just feel very comfortable. I'm gonna use I'm going back into this e.l.f. HD powder that's the yellow corrector one. Again, I still haven't looked it up to see what it was, but I gotta tell you, I really like the finish that this powder gives my skin. I think it kind of mattifies where I need it to mattify, and it blends, and it seems to set. I don't know why yellow is color that you would use. You guys leave me a comment down below and tell me why. Tell me why people have yellow face powder, and what is it correcting? I need to look it up. Hold on. I'm gonna look it up. Okay, so yellow concealer is used to cover up any blemish that's purple in tone. Bruises, veins, and under eye circles can be hidden with a yellow spot concealer. Okay, so I was thinking peach, but I guess you can use yellow too. And that's it for today's video, you guys. I want to think that the two palettes feel very similar to each other. Sorry, I'm kind of shaking the camera. My camera's blinking at me, telling me I need to go. So I feel like the two palettes are very similar in feel. I think you can get a very similar look. Like I feel this is a very similar look. I feel like if somebody looks at me, they're not going to notice that I'm wearing two different palettes, which is good because I'm leaving it on the rest of the day. I feel like maybe the Jaclyn one for Morphe is the one that's the winner for me. I like the Roaring Hearts palette, don't get me wrong. Do you need both of them? No, you don't. If you're a die-hard Colourpop lover, great, stick to the Colourpop Roaring Hearts. If you like Morphe, I would say do the Jaclyn Hill one. It seems like I've gotten a number of all matte palettes, so it's nice to have the shimmers on it, and I think they're beautiful. They performed well. Again, I had to kind of go over it twice to make sure it got into those eyelid creases, but now that it's on there, I'm completely happy with it. So anyway, I hope you guys are doing really well. Leave me a comment on the fashion stuff down below, if you wouldn't mind. And until my next video, bye for now.